Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Steven Carr Show. This is the Steven Carr Show. First of all, if you're not a precinct committeeman and you would like to be one, go to precinctstrategy.com. It's the bottom of my screen. Go there, um, and then go to connect with other conservatives to the site, and then it'll take you to a precinct committeeman and woman precinct strategy communications and collaboration site, and maybe one of us can hook you up. Um, Today we're going to talk about the election. Then we're going to talk about the letter to the American Church and getting and speaking out on moral evils of the world as a church and why we should, and if we don't, how it will how it will fall like how the American Church is becoming like the church of 1930s German uh, Nazi Germany. Uh, So first of all, also we're going to talk about Christians Engaged conference that I went to. First of all, um, election's coming up, and it's November 8th. Dr. Oz is up 5 points in the polls and insider advantage. Don Mastriano is up ahead a little bit, or a dead heat at this time. Uh, so we need all the support we can get with Don Mastriano and Mastriano and Mohamed Oz. We need to get behind them, support them. Um, so if you're outdoor knocking, if you're phone banking, if you're sharing on social media, share stuff about good stuff about Dr. Oz and Doug Mastriano. Um, and so we need to win this, folks. We need our numbers here in York County York County and other counties surrounding Philadelphia and Pittsburgh need to outnumber the numbers in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh at this time in order for him to win. I'll be outside of my polling place or inside my polling place, uh, checking the list. Um, checking the list there. Checking the list there. And checking the machines, checking the voters, um, all that good stuff. Uh, all that good stuff. And so we need to do that. Also, I'll be reporting anything on print that I see any irregularities or any problems. I'll be also um, reporting anything on votifynow.org, election integrity app. Um, I'll be doing that. I'll be watching the polls, handing out sample ballots, handing out candidate information stuff. But we'll switch topic. I'm going to go into the letter to the American Church. This is what I have to say, folks. The church is one of the most powerful institutions that can help the state. Um, I don't know what to tell you. Not 1930 German churches failed to realize that, went silent. Not Hitler took them over, and uh, anyone and took them over, burnt them, and shot pastors, preachers. The only church that did not go silent was Bonhoeffer's church. Bonhoeffer was a pastor, martyr, spy, prophet, and he protected the Jews because the Jews were second-hand citizens that Hitler told people not to buy from, not to use their business from, not to get advice from, because it was a whole conspiracy where against the Jews and anti-Semitism. Again, and I will say this: National Socialists were not right wingers; they were left wingers, and we can see that today, folks. You don't see conservatives. You don't see the conservative movement sending out militia of anti-fascist people that look like brown shirts, have a flag that looks like Nazi Germany war flag, the colors, and using fascist tactics like Nazi Germany and Italy of Mussolini and Hitler, or censoring people's speech like Nazi Germany or Hitler. You don't see that happening at all with the conservative movement. It's all coming from the left, guys, and this and Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Dietrich Bonhoeffer spoke out on these things. He said two things in Church and the Jewish Question. He said on page 153 of the biography of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he said the church is to correct the state when the state is not doing things that is law and order. It's to correct the state and help the state. The other thing he said was that the church is to help the state, and also to help the victims, and it's also to rebel against the state when the state has gone too far. So that being said, the church of this era needs to speak up on more evils of this world, like recently how Joe Biden recently publicly said that it's okay for your children to transition from boy to girl or girl to boy. Is your church speaking up on this? Or is your church speaking up on the abortion issue? Is your church speaking up on LGBTQ issues? Is your church speaking up on how it's on BLM and how all people are created in God, or how all lives matter, or how God created everything in the womb? Is the just recently pro-lifers were arrested and churches were firebombed and spray painted and stuff like that is going on. Recently, we had the left shut down two events of Doug Mastriano. One was the very own Rise of the American Patriot, Pennsylvania movie that shut down in a hotel because it was too extreme. It was extreme for left people. The second time was the event that was a meet and greet at a library, but was shut down because the people on the board were it's conservative, it's too right extremism. It was because the people on the board were leftist people, they were liberals people, and they had to shut it down because of it, and it never happened last minute. This kind of stuff is the censorship and the violence is always coming from the left. Ronald Reagan said if fascism comes to America, it'll be in the form of liberalism, and it has been ever since Nazi Germany and Stalin and the Bolsheviks and the Führer principle. It's always been this way, folks. And the church needs to speak out on the moral evils of this world. It needs to be engaged. Evangelical Christians are the biggest voting bloc. It helped win the 2016 presidential election for Trump. It helped run the 2003 election and 2000 election for Bush, and it's the biggest voting bloc. And the church needs to be more active and civically engaged in voting and praying for our legislators, voting and engaging in moral issues and biblical issues, and being active in the church. It needs to start. Also, back to Christians Engage. Christians Engage is great, and it will help you on these things. It will send you back. It will tell you to intercede and pray for your legislators and being engaged. Pray, vote, and engage is their two things that they tell you to do. And so I got to hear from former legislator in Texas, Rick Green of Patriot Academy, Wendy Fink of 94th District here in Redline, who's a Christian, and Jody Orsi, who's a Christian, and an communicator for a church or a church that he goes to. And I got to hear from Stephanie Berkowitz. He's a really strong Christian. Her husband's a pastor. Love the four of them. I got to hear from Bunny Pounds. Great worship that sent me back to where I need to be. But we need to get involved. If you're a Christian, get involved by becoming a precinct committeeman or a young Republican. Recently, I'm a young Republican, and I did 3 states this year. I did one on I did phone calls for Oregon legislator. I did one for Maryland's legislator, and I did one for Doug Mastriano. I did phone calls for them, and so I was able to do that. And I always share stuff on Facebook, but the Christians need to get engaged, and we need to speak out on these moral evils of this world. Folks, it's the biggest voting block. We need to do it. Speak out before we go silent, and silence is not good. I'll read something to you I'll read a quote to you from something. Hold on. Bonhoeffer said this: "Silence in the face of evil, is itself evil. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act." Dietrich Bonhoeffer. So we need to act, or if you don't act, it's evil itself. Not to speak is to speak, and to act is to act. And we need to do just that. I'm fully behind, I'll say this publicly, I'm fully behind Doug Mastriano. I'm fully behind Dr. Oz as a precinct committeeman, as a Republican committeeman. So that is all I'm saying. And we need to get behind them. Our numbers need to be, I want you guys in line, voting in person on November 8th, early, rise and shine. When you get off work, I want to see a huge line, guys. Huge line. I want numbers out the window. I want it like it was in 2016 or 2020 to get Trump back in office. So let's do it, guys. And like I said, Christians need to be light. Christians are to be the light in the world, to shine on the darkness. We need to be in the world, not of the world. And the way to do that is to become a precinct committeeman, is to be a poll worker. Go to saveourrepublic.com, sign up to be a poll worker. Contact your local Republican committee, ask them to be a precinct committeeman or Republican committeeman. Vote, engage, and be intelligent. Guys, speak out. Get your church involved in speaking out on the moral evils of this world. Guys, it's ridiculous. It's getting times are getting closer. We can see it coming, and we need to be prepared. We need to be culture changers. So that's all I have for you today.